Baseball is a business. Yes, it's a game, but at the end of the day, baseball, just like any other profession, is a business. And management is in the business of winning. Sometimes that drive to win means having to stop the clock on a young player's developing dream in order to usher in a more immediate need.
You're always faced with roster crunches on the 40. You got guys pushing their way on and then other players pushing their way off. And, you know, in Austin's case, he was out of options.
That was probably the lowest point of my career, to be the last man cut from the team, to not be able to leave and go with the guys to New York, to be overlooked, to be kind of like you're done. You know, you had your chances, you're done. It was something that really hit me hard.
After a stellar high school career in Lake Forest, California, Austin Romine was selected in the second round of the 2007 MLB Draft.
We dropped a second-round pick on him. He was a high school kid at El Toro High School. Listen, we had high hopes that he had the potential to be an everyday catcher in the big leagues one day. He had the bloodlines with the family background, but we had high hopes for him, no question, when we took that pick.
Romine dominated the lower levels of pro ball. He hit .300 with the River Dogs in 2008 and was then named the Florida State League Player of the Year after a 13-home run outburst in 2009 with High A Tampa. Austin entered 2010 ranked the Yankees' #2 prospect.
That was something special to me, but there was no pressure added to it. You know, I still had an ultimate goal of getting to the big leagues, and that was really the only thing that I had going on for me.
He was one of the probably top 3 catching prospects in the entire game, which all systems would point towards this is a future everyday player, which we probably back then were dreaming that we had an everyday guy.
The Yankees' top prospect at the time was Jesus Montero, who was also a catcher.
If I remember right, I think they both shared time together, you know, which allowed them to probably stay fresh on the offensive side. Instead of one or the other catching 100-plus games at the same level, they were splitting time. But we were high on both of the players.
It was the first time I had to actually, you know, beat someone out for something, and it pushed me to be better at what I did, and it made me a better catcher because, you know, I just wanted to be better than him. I wanted his job.
Romine made his major league debut on September 11, 2011 at Angel Stadium, just a short drive from his hometown.
You know, I got there a couple minutes before the game started, and I was rushed out, and I was given a bunch of books on how to get guys out, and I had no idea what was going on. One of the things that sticks out the most is right before I caught, you know, the first pitch that I caught in my career, I look over and I see the Angels dugout, and there's only one person on the railing, and it's my brother leaning over, and you know, that was kind of a moment for me, like, oh heck yeah, let's do this. I finally made it. The hard work paid off, and now we're starting a new chapter.
Romine appeared in 9 games in 2011. That offseason, the Yankees traded top prospect Jesus Montero to the Seattle Mariners. The door was open, but unfortunately, Austin suffered a back injury that held him to just 31 minor league games in 2012.
I think it absolutely was a step back in my progress. I think I'd never gone through a major injury before. Something new to me. I didn't know how to take it, how to react. It was a tough time for me. To this day, I think I'm better for in the end, but I do think it hindered me a little bit as my progress towards the big leagues. It put a hold in it, a big stop sign for sure.
Austin returned from injury in 2013, but just wasn't the same player. Following that season, the Yankees signed backstop Brian McCann to become their starting catcher.
Well, at that point in time, I really hadn't done anything to be considered a starter. So, I mean, I hadn't really earned very much.
Well, I mean, essentially, you know, the performance stopped, you know, for an extended period of time on Romine's side. So he was struggling with AAA, and he was disappointing. You know, he really never followed back up on the offensive side with what he had done back in '09 in the Florida State League.
The decline was real and confidence shattering for Austin Romine. After spring training in 2014, he was sent back to AAA after losing the battle for the big league backup job to John Ryan Murphy.
Going back to AAA is always tough. You don't ever want to be there. You want to get to the big leagues and you want to stay there. I was down on myself. My confidence is low. I had negativity surrounding me, and I wasn't putting myself in a position to succeed. But it's hard not to entertain the thoughts of, maybe this just wasn't for me. Maybe this just wasn't meant to be.
Roller leads off at third, the 1-2. Hammered into deep left field. Back on it goes the left fielder and Perkins at the warning track, curls around at the wall, and that ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Austin Romine, and the Row Riders have taken the lead here in the home fourth.
I just found a new love for the game down there, and I just stopped making excuses and got the job done.
Romine repaired himself mentally and continued to plug away. He entered big league camp in 2015 with the goal of securing the open job behind starter Brian McCann.
Unfortunately, we decided at some point, we knew in the spring he wasn't making our team, but he was going to go to the waiver wire if we could make a trade. And no one expressed interest, so which forced me to throw him on the waiver wire. And we kept our fingers crossed that he would get through. And if he did, we'd have immediate insurance sitting at AAA off the roster. And thankfully for us, that's what happened.
Injury, demotion, designated for assignment. This trail of negativity usually spells the end for a professional baseball player.
It was very, very hard for him, and I talked to him a lot. It is the game, it is the way it is. At one time, everybody thought that he went backward.
It was something that really hit me hard, and if it wasn't for all the adversity that I had gone through, I probably wouldn't have been as equipped to deal with it as I was. It put a chip on my shoulder, but in this case it was a positive one, like more along the lines of, I'm going to show you guys, like I'm going to show you I belong here, I'm going to show you you made a wrong choice, I'm going to show you that I can do this.
The look back by Wilk, and here it comes. And this one swung on, driven in the air, deep left field. Back on it goes Decker at the warning track, looking up and at the wall, and that ball is gone. A majestic 2-run home run as Romine trots around third, comes down the line.
Austin hit .270 through the first half of the 2015 AAA season and was selected to the International League All-Star team. After the break, he returned to Scranton to find a new face in the clubhouse. Top catching prospect, Gary Sanchez.
It's tough to come back and from an all-star game and lose your job. That was tough to swallow, but you know what? I could have let it affect a lot of things, and I just didn't. I just kept grinding. A lot of what I did was just keep going. Just keep your head down. My dad always told me, just keep your head down and keep playing hard.
Spring training 2016. Everyone was excited about the pending arrival of Gary Sanchez. The majority had him pegged as the shoe-in backup to Brian McCann.
That was the plan, and Austin Romine was insurance, but Gary Sanchez had a very bad spring. Austin Romine had a very good spring.
But I wasn't going to let it be taken from me if I had an opportunity. And every time I had my name in the lineup, that was an opportunity to show them that I can do it. I got my career on track, and now I have my foot in the door. Now I got to walk through. I got to show everybody what I can do now.
Romine thrived in relief of McCann behind the plate. His game calling received rave reviews from his teammates and coaches. And on offense, he hit .274 against left-handed pitching.
It's Austin Romine.
Line to right center field. There's a base hit.
High drive, left field. See ya!
Gary Sanchez arrived in August in a historic way.
Sanchez crushes one to left center. There it goes! See ya!
The Dominican native took the league by storm, solidifying his future role as the starting catcher in the Bronx. The Yankees traded Brian McCann prior to 2017. Sanchez was the starter. Romine was the backup, unless there was an injury.
Gary unfortunately got hurt. You never want to lose your starting catcher, but that was my time. That was what everything was working towards, that month of playing time that I got to show everybody that I could do it every day, that I could be a catcher in the big leagues and start. That was my time.
But Austin was tremendous. I mean, he was one of the big reasons why we, were able to thrive in the month of April with Gary down.
I think when you have more opportunity, more bats are coming your way, you get more comfortable, and you don't try to do so much at the plate, and I think he's really coming to his own.
What a day for the Yankee catcher. He now has 5 runs batted in.
It was definitely a feeling of, oh wow, I really could do this, because I've never had an opportunity to catch that much before, so I never knew. It's a small sample size, but it let me know that maybe I could do it, and maybe this is something that I could do. But I never let myself get too happy about it, because this game will humble you in a heartbeat, and I've been humbled by it a lot. I just wanted to stay even keel and go out there and get a win, because that's all we're about here, is winning the game. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter how, you just win the game.
Austin Romine flourished in 2017 when given the opportunity to play every day. He batted .314 in April as the team went 12-2 in games where Romine started behind the plate. While it was only a month, it was clear to everyone that the former second-round pick has what it takes to be an everyday catcher in the majors.
I mean, come on, everybody's going to sit here and say they want to start. You can put any position player, pitcher right here and ask them the same question. They're going to say, I'm a starter, I'm a number one, I'm a closer. Like, you have to believe that. You have to have that mindset. I've learned that you can only control what you do on the field, and if you worry about the other stuff, it'll drive you insane. So if I'm in the lineup, I play, and I just try and get my job done.
Overcoming adversity is a part of baseball. It's a part of life. The journey from rookie ball to the majors can be a bumpy road. But every now and again, a survivor emerges, a player who had his clock stopped and fought to restart it himself.